The steel-bound legion's crusade continued relentlessly. The High Brazier took notice, both of their success and of Henry's descent into madness, as reported by the archivars stationed at the Whaleback Kingdom, and decided it was time for a change. He ordered Henry to lead the steel-bound legion's main force to South America. The Sainted Flame had a bold plan: land a massive force on the southern tip of the continent and push north, clearing out caves and beast hideouts along the way. The goal was to create a new safe territory, just like they had done in Australia. The High Brazier was pleased. A new large force could take on some of the Sainted Flame's responsibilities. At that time, the Steel-bound Legion had around 6,000 active Guardians in Whaleback Kingdom and close to 10,000 Guardian suits in storage. The High Brazier's plan was to gather other minor orders scattered around and ship a force close to 20,000 Guardians to South America, aiming to push the beasts back to the Isthmus of Panama. He believed they would obey without question, but Henry said no. Welcome to the Story Crucible. If you're into world building, medieval warfare, giant monsters, and mech-powered soldiers, you're in the right place. Please hit the like button. It helps the channel and tells me you want more stories like this. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment or question. I read every one. This is Mikival. Let's get back to it. He pointed to the Covenant Sigil, the sacred metal scroll from the Sainted Flame, which guaranteed the steel-bound Legion's independence. It was not a command he was bound to follow blindly. The High Brazier tried several more times, sending Ember Priors to persuade Henry. But Henry stood firm. On the third refusal, the High Brazier acted. He declared the steel-bound Legion a heretic order, traitors to the Flame, friends of the beasts. He ordered all flame-aligned kingdoms to cut ties with them. Trade stopped. Communication was severed. Quietly, the High Brazier began gathering a massive army of Sainted Order Guardians, planning to take Whaleback by force, dethrone Henry, and gain access to the Legion's armories, which Henry had refused to share since the Steel-bound Crusade began. Henry failed to realize two things. First, many within his ranks still held loyalty to the Order of the Sainted Flame. Second, years of crusade had created a loyalty problem. The Guardians were more loyal to the generals commanding their units than to the leader of the kingdom. Inside Whaleback, a faction of Guardians began plotting against him. They believed the flame was sacred and that Henry had gone too far. He should walk the path of the ash and seek redemption. The revolt struck while Henry was deep into the Red March, leading another bloody campaign against the beasts. He had hoped this time to push all the way to the crater and beyond. The mutiny cut through the ranks swiftly while Henry was away. Zuberi and Lyra led the loyalists of the Flame. They took over the Whaleback Kingdom, arresting all loyalists of Henry and locking them up. When Henry returned, he found the gates locked against him. Knowing Zuberi for years, he tried to reason with him. Zuberi spoke. "It's not too late to return to the Flame. If you refuse, I will capture you and send you to the ash." Lyra was not pleased. Henry's only path, in her eyes, was to the ash. He would not be allowed to return to the Flame without walking the path of the ash and becoming an ash disciple. But in Zuberi, she had an ally, at least for now. Henry smirked devilishly. The thought of joining the ash disciples of the Flame was not an option. He ordered his men to fire on Whaleback, placing the kingdom under siege. 2,000 Guardians stayed loyal to him. These were the ones who had marched with him toward the crater. They stood with their leader and continued to bombard the walls. Inside the fortress, the new leaders held strong, awaiting reinforcements. Fortunately, they had locked up a large number of steel-bound soldiers, luckily, without their Guardian suits. Zuberi had fewer than 1,000 men holding the walls. Months passed. Then, an army of 1,000 guardians sent by the Sainted Order arrived, led by a flame warden, a war fanatic, as he was sometimes called. They broke the siege. Henry and his loyalists were forced to retreat eastward into the ruins of an ancient city, long swallowed by ash and vines. There, among broken stone and wild growth, Henry raised a new banner. He called it the Kingdom of the Roseheart, and their symbol was a simple rose, in honor of Dirana. The steel-bound legion was given to Zuberi, who repositioned the order back to its glory days, securing the borders and supplying raw materials to other nations in support of the war against the beasts. From that point on, Henry fought a desperate war on two fronts, fighting the beasts to protect his new kingdom, fighting the order he had once called Brotherhood to reclaim what he had lost. The story Crucible. Mech Evil. Like, subscribe, and follow.